Well, doing what I do for a living, I get to meet some really amazing people, I get to introduce you to one of them today, a singer, songwriter that can write and perform with the best of them, and fly helicopters. And you got a little backup plan called a law degree
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Hope MacGregor joins us today.
Hey, how's it going?
It is. I'm doing great. It's good to see you.
Good to be seen from time to time, I guess.
We met at Steamboat up on the mountain during Music Fest. I think the first time you were out there, you were kind of just out there on your own doing the open mic thing.
Yep.
And then the owner and creator of Music Fest, John Dixon, heard you sing. And then the next year, you're on the main lineup.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
really incredible.
that is awesome. Well, I mentioned the helicopters, and that kind of ties into your story. Music was a first love for you, but if I remember right, it kind of got put on the shelf for a while when you entered the military academy.
Yeah, yeah, my parents wouldn't let me drop out of high school and run off to Nashville, so to, show them, I joined the Army instead. And so that's how I ended up at West Point and flying helicopters for a few years there.
Very good. You were deployed and got a lot of time in the cockpit, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, just shy of 1,000 hours, but yeah, I did a tour to RC East Afghanistan, and yeah, it was the coolest job in the world. And I joke with people now that, I'm trying to be as cool as I once was by being like a music star, whatever, and folks think that that's pretty ridiculous, but
Well, how does the adrenaline rush of being on stage compare to being in the cockpit of a helicopter?
yeah. Oh man, that's a good question. I think they're very similar in the sense that like to prepare for a flight, you have a pre-flight checklist and you go through a crew brief and you talk through what you're going to do and where you're going to go and what you're going to do when you get there and who you're supporting. And music is very much the same, right? Like we have rehearsals and we have a logistics plan and a game plan of when we have to be there, when we have to load in and all that stuff. And so there's a lot of it that's actually kind of prepared me for music. I mean, there's nothing cooler than shooting an M4 out the door of a helicopter. So I have yet to experience the same adrenaline rush, but I don't know, playing the national anthem before Zach Top at Steamboat,
Mm.
that was pretty much right up there with some of those missions overseas too. The nerves were definitely the same.
uh, and the temperature that day probably didn't help matters too much either.
No.
Yeah. Hope MacGregor joins us, and you're going to have the chance to hear Hope at Joe's Honky-Tonk in Kearney on Saturday, July 12th. She's going to be on stage. Be a big night at Joe's. You sent me a song not too long ago called "Hey Buddy,"
Yep.
and this is kind of a cool take on the how to let the guy down story. Does this come from a real life experience, or maybe a combination of a few?
Yeah, definitely a combo. There's great connective tissue of the internet and social media. You can meet people and reach out to people all you want. And sometimes that means you're on the receiving end of all of the messages somebody wants to send. Yeah, my DMs sometimes can get a little bit weird. And so I was dealing with that and then also dealing with like some text messages and some phone, and I'm just like, I think we're all getting the wrong idea here. And so yeah, Hey Buddy was definitely inspired by one of those days where I got like 4 DMs and several text messages. And I went to a co-write with some friends here in Jackson, and I was like, I'm just like, we're barking up the wrong tree, boys. And so we took that and ran with it.
Now, barking up the wrong tree, your next single also has a dog reference. Uh, it, I mean, was that connected, or was it just
Yeah, I
it
guess.
just worked out that way?
I mean, I'm obviously like a big dog person. When my parents got married, they had 5 dogs between the two of them, and so I've always grown up kind of with a pack of animals running around. And so, I'm always trying to pay homage to these, man's best friend. And certainly, Hey Buddy was just, there was so much fun you could do lyrically, like the bridge of like, I didn't call, but you done came, roll on over, be on your way kind of stuff. Like that was just fun. But yeah, Why Dogs is, the kind of love letter about my dog Lucy, who passed in December. So like right before we headed out for Steamboat, I had to put my dog of 12 years down. And so it was really hard. But yeah, I mean, I love dogs, and I don't think there are enough good dog songs out there. So I'm just trying to contribute to the population in that
I,
way.
I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
So will these two songs be a part of an album that'll be coming out later this year?
Yeah, we're getting ready to drop our second studio album in August. So that'll be out August 29th. Yeah, and the title track, Sloppy Seconds, will drop in July. So we're getting geared up for that, and those two songs are definitely on it.
What kind of other subjects or subject matter or sounds will folks hear on Sloppy Seconds?
Yeah. So I mean, certainly, I have this like brand of spurned woman that we're keeping up in this one, right? The first song, Let Me Guess, is all about that like unwanted phone call I got from my ex-husband not too long ago. And I didn't answer, but I was like, well, if I did, what would I say? Well, let me guess. Like so yeah, there's definitely that version on there. But then, back to the flying thing, I wrote a song called Used to Fly that I'm really proud of, and that's on there. And it's kind of that nostalgia song about being younger in your heyday and all that you used to be able to do. And then yeah, there's the dog song, and there's um, a song called Still Waters, which is certainly a little bit about my time in uniform and how all the global war on terror has played out. So yeah, we're spanning the gamut this one. It's not a breakup album for sure.
Hope MacGregor joins us today, and I encourage everybody to see her perform live at Joe's Honky-Tonk in Kearney coming up on Saturday the 12th. And Hope, I've only seen you perform by yourself, so I haven't seen you do the full band thing.
Yeah.
What can we expect?
Oh my gosh, I brag on my band all the time. They're not just incredible musicians, but they are some of the best people on planet Earth, just like solid, down to earth, shirt off their back folks. And I'm really excited. We've got a new drummer, Brooke Cagle, who's joining the crew. And you'd pass her in Kroger and not think twice about, oh, I bet that girl can drop a beat. This girl is insanely talented. I'm so, so glad that she's joining us on the road. And then we've got Joe Kyle on bass, and he works kind of in the Luke Combs, Ray Fulcher circle as the sound engineer, but he's also an incredible writer and bass player. So he's coming with us. And then Mason Henson is on lead guitar, and he's a session musician down at Sun Studios in Memphis. He's toured a lot as well in the past. I mean, he's young; he just turned 21, but he's for sure one of the best guitarists in West Tennessee. So we're lucky to have him on the road. So
Now, the show at Joe's is part of a big summer tour. How long are you out on the road with this band?
yeah, we're leaving July 9th, and we're coming back on July 27th, and we're heading all the way out to Idaho, and then back down through Oklahoma and heading home to Tennessee. So
I hope that you have just as many glowing things to say about your band when you get back as you do right now.
the good news is like we're really good friends outside of all the music stuff. And luckily, like Joe and Mason will be in their own separate corner, and Brooke and I will be in our own separate. So we'll have enough downtime, I think, and a couple days off will help. So
That's good. Well, how do we stay in touch with you this summer and get ready for that album coming up in August?
yeah, you can find me on all the social media stuff, Hope MacGregor Music, and it's MacGregor. I've also got a website, hopemacgregormusic.com, and you can sign up for email distro. I'm really bad at sending out the email, so if you don't love spam, sign up because I hardly send anything out. But all of the tour information will be up there under the events tab. And then, yeah, go follow on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff, and we'll be dropping a few more songs here and then the album in August.
Come see her in person. Joe's Honky-Tonk, Saturday the 12th. And one of these days, I know we intended to maybe get together in the studio and do this interview. We need to make that happen one of these days.
Yeah.
So if not, I hope to see you again soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Adam.
Hope MacGregor joining us today.
Bye, y'all.